Hello, everybody. Love and light to you. I'm going to do a daily angel card reading. This is a 2-card reading because I got this little feeling that I need to do these 2 cards. I don't know who they're for and I don't know why, but I've learnt by now that when I get these little feelings that I need to act upon them. So if I see the angel cards pack pop in my head, that's telling me I need to do a reading now. So I'm going to do this card reading now, and it's only going to be 2 cards because that's the number that I see in my head. So I'm going to do a 2-card reading. Again, I don't know who they're for. Perhaps it's for somebody that might need an answer right now. Perhaps it's just for somebody that needs a little bit of extra guidance or push in the right direction. Again, I don't know. I'm asking out now, and I'm shuffling the cards, and we'll have to see what they're for, who they are for, what they mean, and what have you. But it's a 2-card draw, okay? Alright, that's 1 card. So I get this little feeling, and it's like a wave, it's like a shudder that's telling me to stop shuffling. So we got 1 card, pop him down. And now I'm going to do the 2nd card and wait for that little feeling, and or that we'll have to do, because sometimes when you're shuffling cards and one pops out or falls out, use those cards, because that is saying, okay, you didn't see that little sign that I just give you, here you go, this is the card I want you to read. So you always go with that. Alright, first card. Notice the signs. Now what does this mean? Notice the signs. I'm looking at that card now. I can see what it says, notice the signs, and automatically I know damn well that this is for many people, but few in particular. But many of you have been asking out lately. You've been asking for some sort of indication that your loved one is okay. Some have been calling out for some sort of message or some sort of indication that you're doing the right thing or not. And that is the 2 main feelings that I got. Should I or shouldn't I? And there's a strong feeling of connection, needing some form of connection or indication that a loved one is okay. So I'm going to go with that at the moment. Just those. If something else pops in, I'll let you know. But what does that mean? Notice the signs. Okay, well, it says what it says on the tin. Notice the signs, and that you are given guidance. You're given guidance by your loved ones. You're given guidance from your spirit guides, your angels, and your whole spirit team. They all make up your personal spirit team. For those that is looking for some sort of answer, should I or should I not, I would say go with your gut on this one. I know there's several people that are, you've got to make a decision at the moment in the group, in the voyance group that is. You need to make some sort of big decision. Now go with that decision. Go with what your heart and your intuition tells you. Like I've said in the post before, don't listen to your brain. Your brain will tell you anything that it thinks you need to hear. Alright? So always go with your heart and go with your gut. If something don't feel right, then it's probably not a good idea to go along with something. If something feels quite positive and you feel quite good with it, take a punt, go for it. What have you got to lose? Your brain's going to tell you one way or the other, but go with your heart and go with your instincts on this. That will serve you much better than rational thinking. Alright? So that's for those people who needs a bit of a decision to make. Now going to the main one, there's a little bit of romance here. There's a few romancy issues with this. Whether, whether everyone's happy with my choice and how I am and what I'm doing, or do they think that I'm making a mistake or some kind? We're just going to stop it right there. It's nobody's business. Alright? You do what feels right for you. Again, don't listen to your brain. See what I said earlier? Your brain will tell you what it thinks you should hear. And 9 times out of 10 you'll end up chewing things over, and it's going around and around in your mind, and you ain't getting nowhere. Just getting more worked up. Getting more questions than answers. So go with your gut. It doesn't matter who you see. It doesn't matter who you want to be with. It doesn't matter if the Pope don't like it, the Queen don't like it, your mum, dad, your auntie, your uncle. It don't matter about anybody, your friends. You do what you need to do for you and nobody else. Okay? And there's so many people that I know that are too afraid to live because their parents or somebody won't approve. Well, again, they've had their life and this, they're living it still, but you can't, unfortunately, you can't live your life precariously for your children's. Alright? So you've got to do what's right for you at all times. So if you feel happy in what you're doing right now, stick with it. You don't know how long it's going to last. It could be the greatest thing ever. But you could miss out on the greatest thing ever if you listen too much to other people. So that's my advice to you. Is to do what feels right for you and just think about you and nobody else. It's your heart. This is your life. Even if you've got children and they don't like it, tough cheese. Alright? They're going to grow up and they're going to have their decisions to make in life, and you can't put your life on hold for anybody else. You've got to do whatever you need to do for you. Show everybody that you love them. Show them that you care for them. And again, if they don't like your decision, well, that's their opinion and they're perfectly in their rights to think that way. But you've got to do what's right for you always. So that's the romantic side of it out of the way. Now let's get back to the main one, which I feel is the most important. It says notice the signs. With all of those other things, the decision and the romantic side of things, and more importantly with communication with your loved one, the signs are around you. What you should do, what decision you should make, who do I love. All these little signs there are around you. But when it comes to loved ones, which I know that a load of you are still wanting to have some sort of sign, even though you've had signs in the past, you still want that much more. Okay? Alright. They're around you. Those loved ones that you're thinking about so much, they are around you. Any loved one is. If they love you and you love them, that creates a bond. And this is a universal bond, and it's a bond that lasts eternity. It cannot be broken. Alright? So, for those that are feeling a little bit perturbed, a little bit upset about other people getting visits and messages and stuff like that, perhaps we might have to address on how you can even the chances, even the odds a little bit. See, many spirit people, they won't come to visit somebody if they're angry at them, if they're really upset and they're depressed about them leaving and they're crying all the time and they can't get on with their life. Their life is in some sort of sinkhole and they're just stuck in one place because they can't move past the idea of their loved one passing. Grief is a terrible thing. It's a horrible thing, and I don't think there's anything in the world like it. But some people adjust. And I think that's the thing here, is acceptance and adjusting to the circumstance at hand. A lot of people won't adjust. Some people refuse to adjust. Some people just cannot bear the thought of their loved one not being around them. Alright, they are around you. They're around you all the time, okay? I give you my word on that. They're around you, especially when you need them. They got things to do as well. They're not at your beck and call. They're gonna be doing their things that they like, and you know, which is nice. That just goes to show you that life goes on. Alright, we just might lose our physical self, but the real us, our spirit, our soul, our angel light, if you want, that carries on. So they might not come when you go, Auntie June, I want you now. They're not going to just turn up like that, because why should they? They got things to do. Alright? Just the same as you got things to do. And one of the things that you've got to do is to raise your vibrations. This is key. Very much key to everything. When you raise your vibrations and you're on a higher energy, a brighter, a happier, more positive energy, then you're going to notice things around you, because it has a physical effect on the environment. What I mean by this is, if you're low and you're really down and really depressed and you're crying over, say, Auntie June, okay, Auntie June passed away. Now you want Auntie June to come and visit you, and you're crying and you're so depressed and your energy is low. You started drinking, maybe you started taking other substances, I don't know, whatever you get up to, and you're in a very low state, a vast change in how you used to be. Well, that's going to change the environment around you as well. So you're feeling low and you're probably crying a lot, and your nose is running. You know what, it's when you're crying a lot, your nose starts running, so you might not be able to smell Auntie June's famous, I don't know, sponge tarts or something like that. You won't smell her Sunday roast that she used to cook. It's all about the signs. Remember, it's about the signs. So one thing that they can do is show you things with smell. They can show you things in thought form. They can show you things in dreams. They can show you maybe a flash of light here and there. You might get a random thought of them in your head, and that will indicate that they're around you. So for you to notice those things, you gotta have some dry eyes, okay? Because you can't see if your eyes are crying and you're wiping your eyes like this. You know, you're not gonna see if the little spark, their energy spark. You won't see that. If your nose is all blocked because you're crying, you're not going to smell anything. Okay, so there's two major signs that you're not seeing. And maybe you're rocking, maybe you're crying uncontrollably and you don't want to hear anything. And now you're not hearing any sounds. So it's a little bit of this going on at the moment, and concentrating on your insides, because that's what grief does, isn't it? You don't see nothing, you don't experience anything. The only thing that you know is this pain that you have inside of you. This is the second part of it, because you're feeling so low and you can't help it. It's a natural thing. You're concentrating on yourself and how much you're hurting, and this will have a physical effect on you and your environment. Again, if you've started drinking because of a loved one passing, then your judgment is going to be impaired for a start. So they could be standing right next to you, but if you've been on the gin or whatever, you're not going to notice them dancing a jig upon your head. You just won't notice these things. Now, if you're really sad and you've changed your character, your personality, and you're much lower in energy, you know, and your loved one is looking at you and giving it, I want to visit you, I want to put my arms around you, but I'm the reason why you're feeling like that. That's not going to make them feel very good either. What I'm saying is your intentions, the way you are, your energy is what invites them. And it's also the same thing that pushes them away. I'm not doing this to upset anybody because I know grief is a terrible thing. But you can't have yin and yang both going at the same time. You've got to have a balance, alright? Accept this is the way things are. As hard as that may be, but it is the key to it all. And know that they love you. And perhaps, and this is what I suggest, light a candle, talk. Just talk as if they were right there in the room. Don't be queuing up to have a go at them, like many others have done in the past. You know, why would they come and visit if they know that they're going to get scorned? Just because they succumb to the natural order of things. It's not fair on them, and it's not going to get you a visit in too much of a hurry if they know that you have malice towards them in some way. Alright? So you've got to be as positive as you possibly can. No matter how hard it is, even if you've got to pretend and you're so cut up inside but you're smiling on the outside, that's still going to raise the environment around you's energy and make it more inviting for them to want to come and see. When you're in a better, clearer state, a more positive state of mind, you're going to notice, oh, I can smell that flan, that lovely sponge Auntie June used to make. You could smell it. What was that flashing then? I just saw this flashing. And suddenly you get an image pop in your head. What was that flashing? Image in your head. It's me. That's how it works. That's how they're going to do it. Okay? So smells is very important. You might hear in your head. You might be there doing your cleaning, your dusting, or what have you. And you might suddenly hear a song in your head playing. Well, you never thought to create that song in your head. It just popped in there. That's another sign. That's them. Who owns that song? Who loved that song? It's them again. You see what I mean? So when you're in a clearer, more positive and more focused state of mind, you're having a bit of fun in life. It makes it more inviting. It makes a more warming energy, a stronger energy to make better connections. I don't create the universe. I just tell you how, as far as I know it, how it works. And that is energy attracts energy. Personalities attract like. So if you're a negative person and you've become negative and bitter because of a loss, then unfortunately that loved one is not going to want to make things worse and make you feel even worse than you are. So that's what they're trying to tell you, and that's okay. I'm sorry that you're hurting, but you know, if you give me something to say that you want me to visit you in a nice positive energy type of way, then guarantee you're going to get some more signs and more visitations. But it comes down to intention, and it comes down to your energy levels. Raise your vibrations, talk to them. They'll hear you. And as soon as they know that you're not mad at them and you're not going to get worse or be too upset even more, then you'll start to notice these little things. Alright? So that's that one anyway. Look out for the signs. Last one, daydream, which just backs up everything. The daydream is saying just that, dream. When you dream and when you're relaxed and you're thinking of somebody and you go into that daydream state, sometimes that is the best way in the day to communicate with them, because you'll notice more signs and you'll notice more things happening. Most of the time it's best at night. When you go to bed, think of them. Say, Auntie June, please come and visit me in my dreams tonight. Don't call Auntie June every single night, every single day, because Auntie June's going to get fed up with it. She's got a life to live. Might be a different one than you're used to, but she's still got a life to live nonetheless. So, every now and again, once or twice a week, brilliant, do it. Just go to sleep before you turn the light out. Say, Auntie June, please come and visit me in my dreams tonight. Don't think about it too much. Just go to sleep. The sooner you go to sleep, the sooner you'll get into REM or REM sleep, and then the sooner you can quite possibly get some form of visitation, be it in a dream, but still visitation from Auntie June. Alright? So that's what this card is saying. Don't be afraid to dream. You want to dream? That's the best way to do it. There's two worlds. There's our world and there's a spirit world. And there's this tiny curtain going in between us, like a little thin brick wall. Okay? Now when you go into REM sleep, that wall, that curtain gets a lot thinner. Starts off like thick velour curtains, okay? And it's really thick in the day. But when your body's relaxed and your mind is relaxed and your subconscious is let free to experience things in a much clearer and general way, this is when that curtain, that veil, gets a lot thinner. And instead of thick velour curtains, we're talking net curtains with loads of holes in it. And sometimes when you're sleeping, sometimes you might jump like that. You jump. Why have you jumped? Oh my God, what was that? And you feel that you caught your breath sometimes. That's because you touched just slightly over into the spirit realm. That's how thin the curtain is. And that's you being pulled back by your spirit guide, your angel, pulling you back to your body, saying, it's not your time yet. I'll stand here and referee, and we'll get some sort of visitation going on, but you don't cross that line quite yet. So that's what that jumping thing means. So there you go. Don't be afraid to dream. The signs are all around you. They love you, or else they won't be allowed to come anywhere near you. So only loved ones are allowed to come and visit you like this. The signs are everywhere. You've got to raise your vibrations enough to make yourself and your environment more welcoming for them to want to come and see. When they come and visit you, if you're more happier and welcoming and you really want them to come and visit, then you'll notice that your level and you're feeling better yourself, you're going to notice these little signs that are all around you. And at night, daydream. You could daydream in the day. You sit there, just sit quietly and just look out the window, just think. Just close your eyes and think. Just drift away into a light thought form and see whose image comes into play. You never know. Could be Auntie June. Or if you feel somebody by the side of you, just ask yourself, who's beside me? And you just wait and see what image you get in your mind. 9 times out of 10, the first image is the person who was right next to you. Always believe in your first answer, your first image that pops into your mind, because they're often the correct one. So there you go. Don't be afraid to dream. Look forward, light a candle, raise your vibrations, do something fun, do something happy, do something enjoyable. Do whatever you need to do for you. Don't worry about anybody else. Do what you need to do. But whatever you do everything for your greater happiness, because it has a knock-on effect with your environment. That means anybody that shares your environment is going to feel a lot better and happier about you as well. Okay? Well, there you go. That's your 2 cards. I hope you can make sense of some of this, but that's what they mean. Look out for the signs. They are there. Your loved ones love you. You're doing fine. If you love a teapot, love that teapot. Don't worry about if anybody else don't like you loving that teapot. You do what you need to do. Decision, ask your heart, and ask your gut. They will have the right answers for you. Do what feels right. Don't be afraid to dream. Dreaming is the closest thing to being in the spirit world. That means the closest thing you got to them. There you go. Love and light to you. Until we see each other again.